You work hard enough
Yeah.
and you save your money and do it
Uh-huh.
right, you could be like me,
Oh.
retired.
Okay.
I don't have to get up in the morning.
Oh.
I don't have to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everyone, Altair here. So I was at a Filipino restaurant the other day and I overheard a lady arguing with her mom who was obviously a boomer. She said something like,
But I already have 2 jobs and it's still not enough.
then her mom literally said,
Maybe if you stop spending too much time playing video games, then you'll have time for another job. Kids nowadays, all you do are
play video games and be lazy.
after hearing that, it got me asking myself, why are boomers so fucking stupid? So before we proceed, remember that this is merely a generalization, and of course not all boomers are like this. I grew up hearing all about the good old days. Back in 1975, a boomer fresh out of high school could grab a solid job, buy a house for just 3 or 3.5 times their yearly pay, start a family, and ride that long wave of post-war growth. Things just felt really stable with all those opportunities easily lining up for them. But now, you juggle side hustles. Housing prices sit at 4 or 5 times earnings or more. Inflation plus curveballs keep coming. We literally have a totally different realities, and I'm 100% sure that we all felt that, but it just hits different, knowing we're inheriting this bullshit. The intellectual side really stands out first. Boomers often struggle with quick adaptation and fresh problem solving. Fluid intelligence peaks in your late 20s, then declines for everyone. Why? Because of biology. Prefrontal and hippocampal shifts happen. Older brains lean harder on old habits and past experiences, which means that they end up repeating what worked for them 40 years ago, even when the world has literally changed and moved on. And I've noticed it in conversations that go nowhere fast. Boomers rode the upward part of the Flynn effect IQ gains. Later cohorts saw some reversals in places like Norway. They pivot slower in economics and tech, and we adapt faster usually. For example, my uncle kept telling me before that we just need to work hard and in less than a decade, we can buy our own houses, while dismissing content creation, online job portals, and professional gaming as not real jobs, and refusing to understand why simply walking into businesses no longer works the way it did in the 70s. Media habits also make their thinking even slower. Younger folks game a lot and train attention plus quick thinking. Action games build these kinds of skills, and studies back that up. Heavy TV watching hits older cohorts more as it links to verbal memory decline over the years. Data from thousands of adults over 50 shows risk jump after 3.5 hours a day or so. And this is because passive stuff does not stimulate the brain like interactive environments do. Boomers default to cable news loops, which means they update slower on complex issues. Then you have the information sources themselves. Older adults shared fake news links about 7 times more than younger ones in that 2016 Facebook analysis, even after controlling for politics and education. Legacy TV habits brought high negative volume into online spaces too. I remember sharing something about our hometown mayor providing flood relief aid, and my friend quickly corrected me, because it turns out he was literally just taking credit for their local charity's work. Because after all, you correct course quicker overall. Meanwhile, boomers get stuck in propaganda bubbles much easier. And what I mean is that the way they consume and are exposed to media is warping their decision making on big topics, which literally leaves them way more heavily biased. Then you have aging. Aging reduces fluid processing, especially on top of decades of reinforced worldviews. And I mean, they will literally defend their own personal quote-unquote success stories like their life depends on it. And the reason is because it's kind of hard for them to admit that the world has changed and it feels threatening, so they rationalize instead. Shit like skyrocketing rent, student loans, and stagnant wages hits you right in the face every month. Cable news and endless Facebook shares just keep feeding their bubble. I believe boomers act stupid here. I mean, their luck kind of became the baseline they defend. All that biology and decades of easy wins wired them with blind spots most of us just don't have. And you probably see the urgency way clearer. On big stuff like climate change, the differences really show. Sure, people of all ages care to some degree, but older folks often don't feel the same urgency about human-caused warming. Younger people are way more anxious about it. We push harder for changes because the long-term costs will literally land straight on our and the next generations. I've got friends who talk about it like crazy every single day. Wildfires, crazy weather, rising seas, and especially packed silica, all that shit. Boomers grew up in that post-war stability, so they keep projecting their own success stories onto today. And yeah, they literally miss how much the baselines have shifted. And with political power still concentrated in their older hands, median age in the House around 57, Senate around 64, and those outdated views keep getting locked in. Boomers hold around 51% of the national wealth these days. Millennials sit at somewhere around 11%. I mean, think about how wild that gap is. Median wealth for older households lands way higher, like $430,000 plus. Younger folks scrape together far less. Home ownership at age 30. Boomers hit 49 to 54%. Younger groups sit between 24 and 38%. Living with parents doubled for our age range. I believe those numbers show how the ladder got taller and more fucking expensive, and you pay for it monthly. The new economy shows their stupidity very clear. Creator work exploded into a $250 billion space. You need video skills, analytics, and audience building. Gaming turned into social creative worlds. Younger people see influencer paths as legit careers instead of hobbies. Boomers brush them off as unstable. I even had this awkward moment at the gym watching TI9 Dota 2 with the owner, because he's a huge fan too. The prize pool was mentioned. $34 million. And the boomer next to me on the treadmill said something like, "That much just for a video game?" Their old reference points make them dumb about the new ladders you live every day. I used to get so frustrated about all these. Then I, did some research and it suddenly clicked. Their stupidity comes from clinging to outdated maps in a world that's already changed. Younger generations just aren't like them. Anyway, that is all for today, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Go grab some chicken adobo at your nearest Filipino restaurant, and I'll see you on the next one.